Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our fifth lecture from our semester Business English. So, are you ready? Let's get started. So, in Unit 6, the main topic here is money. So, we're gonna learn all the terms that are related to the financial terms. Okay, and then the listening part, the part that I love most, is talking about how do you manage investment, and the reading part is going to talk about a very inspirational story. And then the language review, actually, it's not a grammar, it's not a tense or something like that. It's not a grammatical rule. More than vocabs like verbs, adjectives, and nouns that we can use to describe trend. Now, I know you've heard such a word trend in social media and stuff, but we're using that in the financial and accounting and stuff related to money. Okay, if you're working in finance and accounting, you would know what I'm talking about. If it's not, you will get to know now. Now, the skill that we're going to focus on, and I want you to learn it, is how you deal with figures. Okay, now the word figure, if you Google it and try to find out the meaning of it, you will find different meanings of it. Okay, but the stuff that related here is numbers. We mean numbers, but different type of numbers, not just number 1 to 100, 1 million. No, like there are different type of figures. We'll get to know them in more detail. So stay tuned. Okay, now let's start with doing a money quiz. Actually, when I was reading this one, I felt like, oh my God, every single one of us needs to do this so you can know where are you going to or what are you doing exactly with your money. So prepare your notebook and try to answer these questions, okay, and then analyze your answer and see, oh my God, where am I going, what I'm doing with my money. So how much cash do you have with you at the moment? Do you know exactly how much, or approximately? Okay, almost 1 million, almost 200, almost 50, or you don't know at all. Okay, try to choose one of them. And do you normally check, do you check your change, okay, and get to know what do we mean like change in money, okay. Now, your bank statements and credit card bills, do you usually check your bank account, okay, how much do you have money there or not, okay, if you're using a bank, not cash, okay. Now, do you normally check restaurant bills? So when you get the bill, you're in the restaurant, do you normally check it, what did you pay for, or just you see the total amount and you just go for it and buy and pay it, sorry. For me, I need to check it many times. I've been into that situation when they add stuff I didn't order, so I don't like that. Now, do you check your receipt when you're shopping, or no, that's it, I don't want to feel guilty. Do you normally check prices in several shops or online before you buy something? Do you usually do that, or the moment that you see something, okay, that's it, you go for it, I don't have time to waste it on such a thing. Now, question number 3, do you give money to beggars in the street, or I don't know, in the corner of your house or whatever, okay, you find them, do you give them? They are usually in the traffic lights and stuff. Do you usually give money to charities? Oh, you never do that. Okay, it's never comes to your mind, or you don't have enough money to do that. Do you give away used items such as clothes, okay, to other people? Do you sell things you don't want, for example, on eBay? Okay, we don't have eBay, but every country, there are that type of websites or Facebook groups when you want to change your sofa, so you basically sell it, okay, or not. You just give it to people that you know. What type of a person are you? Question number 4, how do you feel about borrowing money? Okay, now you need some money and you need to borrow some money. Okay, what do you usually do? Do you tend to always manage to stay in credit and save regularly? Do you usually save so you don't need to borrow any money? Or do you tend to sometimes go into the red and use an overdraft facility? okay? Like stuff more than you're capable or out of your budget. Okay, now you're learning a new vocab, overdraft. Do you tend to usually pay interest on your credit card at the end of the month? Okay, so which type of a person are you? Now, question number 4. Some people try not to pay the correct amount of tax. Is this a serious crime from your own perspective? Okay, is this morally wrong but not a crime? Is this excellent business practice? What do you think about tax? Now, if you don't know what's the meaning of tax, please Google it. It's really important that you know it. Question number 6. If you lend a colleague a small amount of money and they forget to pay it back to you, we all have been in such embarrassing situation. So your friend, your colleague, someone you know, borrow some money from you, not that big amount of money, no, it's very small. So what do you usually do if they forget to pay you back? Do you say something, or you don't say anything at all? Okay, or like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, I cannot ask him or her to pay me back. Or do you remind them that they owe you money? Do you tell them? Or do you arrange to go for a drink with them and say you've forgotten your wallet or purse? Now, to be honest, sometimes I do the third one, okay, in case it's a hopeless case. Now, the idea behind doing such a quiz is not just to, I don't know, evaluate you financially, but also to get to know a lot of new vocabs you're learning here. Now, we're diving in, okay, to the serious work. Now we're going to learn some financial terms like equity, stake, recession, shares, debt, stock market, and forecast. Now, all of these stuff, of course, most of them you don't know the meaning. That's totally okay, okay? Even me, some of them, I didn't really know them because I'm not specialized in economics. Now, what we want you to practice is what here, English translation. So try to find out the definition of each term. Okay, why we call them term? Because some of them, it's not just one word, like here, stock market, okay? 2 words represent one meaning, one term, refer to one thing. Okay, so try to match these words, these terms, with the definition of them. Now, sometimes even the definition is not clear. You need to translate it and you're gonna learn some vocabulary from it. It's totally okay, but at the beginning, try to use the English, okay? We want you to practice that. And then when you get to the point, oh my God, I cannot do it anymore, or that's it, I'm out of ideas, I don't really get it. Now it's okay to use English, your native language translation. But try as much as you can to avoid that. Try to understand the meaning of every single word according to the context. Okay, so go ahead, please do it and get back to me to check the key answer. Cool, you're done? Okay, let's see. Now, number 1, equal parts into which the capital or ownership, okay, we're learning 2 vocabs here, capital, ownership of a company is divided. We call it shares. Number 2, a period of time when business activity decreases because the economy is doing badly. Okay, we're learning from the definition. We have a new vocabs also. That's recession. Number 3, money risked when a business owns part of another company. That's equity stake. Number 4, a place where company shares are bought and sold. We call it stock market. Okay, now the word share as a verb, you're sharing something. Okay, we bought, I don't know, this bag of potato and we're going to share it. You take some and I take some. Now, share as a noun is just like the company is the bag of potato and we're going to take some of the potatoes there, okay, as a noun in financial term and in economy. Now, number 5, a description of what is likely to happen in the future. We call it forecast. This is used with the weather, with the economy, with money, with everything. Okay, we call it forecast. Number 6, money owed by one person or organization to another person or an organization. So you owe me some money, it means it's debt. Now the B, it's pronounced very slight, debt. It's like, it's not there, debt. Next, we're going to match the sentence halves. Okay, so basically it's just like the definition of every single term here. Now, we learned 6 terms in the previous activity, and we're going to learn another 6 terms here. So please pause the video and try to practice English translation, and if you cannot do it, it's okay to use English versus your native language. Go ahead, please, and pause the video. Cool, you're done? Excellent. Let's match the answers. Now, profit margin is the difference between the price of a product or service and the cost of producing it. Number 2, investment means what? Is money which people or organizations put into a business to make a profit. Bankruptcy, here on the other hand, means when a person or any organization, any company, is unable to pay their debts. So we call it bankruptcy. Number 4, a dividend. It means a part of a company's profits paid to the owners of the shares. Number 5, pre-tax profits. Here it's F, which means the money a business makes before payment to the government. Now, number 6, the annual turnover is D, the amount of money which a business obtains in a year from customers by selling goods or services. These are very important terms, very important. Okay, we keep getting more activities to practice using all of these terms. Now we learned 12 financial term. We're going to apply them in this exercise, okay? Complete this news report with the terms from exercises A and B, the 2 previous activities. Now the idea here is not just to do the practical side of using these financial terms, also to have a clear idea how can you write a report. Okay, this is very good report, it's news report. Okay, so you can also have a clear idea about that and different types of writing. Okay, now I'm gonna let you enjoy it. Okay, that's really important, you need to do it, no cheating. Okay, go back to the previous 2 activities, get down all of the terms that we've learned, and then apply them here. Okay, go ahead, pause the video. Cool, done? Great, let's enjoy it. Now, as you can see here, and now the business news. Okay, there was a further downturn, downturn in the economy this month as the recession in the United States and Asia Pacific region continues. Okay, yesterday was another day of heavy trading on the stock market with big losses in the share values. Oh my god, what happened? The forecast for the near future is not really good. Oh my god, as market confidence remains low. Okay, Paradise Lane, the struggling luxury hotel group, what happened with them? Is seeking the new investment to try and avoid bankruptcy following the announcement of disastrous interim results. It currently has a debt of nearly 5 billion, not million, billion dollar. Now, if you don't know what's the meaning of billion, please get to know that. There are rumors, okay? Rumors, it means not correct news, let's say. There are rumors of rivals GHN taking a large equity stake. Okay, so GHN, absolutely, it's abbreviation of the full name of the group or a company. Taking a large equity stake in the troubled hotel group. Phoenix Media announced a 15% increase in pre-tax profits on an annual turnover of $4.5 million. Added to the strong performance in the last quarter, this is likely to result in an increased dividend of over 14 cents. 14 cents per share. So, do you see how can we go smoothly from explaining their financial situation or economic situation, why they're suffering, or maybe they're going to suffer from a bankruptcy, what's the problem, what's gonna happen, all of this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead. We can enjoy listening to the first part of this guy's speech here. He's going to explain something about managing investments. Try to listen to him and fill the blanks. Let's go ahead.
Unit 6, Money, Track 37.
Could you tell me what your role is as an investment director? The aim of the business is to provide investment solutions for private individuals who have capital that they wish to employ to achieve a certain level of return. My role as the investment director is to both design the strategy for the client with an intention of meeting that aim, that return, and also then manage that strategy on an ongoing basis.
So here he's talking about he's the investment management, okay? So what's the aim of the business? What do they need to provide, and all of this stuff. Now, in addition to my pronunciation, you're listening to different type of pronunciation for the words, okay? So you can also pay attention to that by listening to it one more time. If you feel like you're done, okay, let's check the answers. You did it? Cool. Let's go. So here are the correct answers of the first part of the listening, or actually the interview. Okay, checked your answers? Cool. The other part, but here we need to complete the chart here, okay? Now, even in the activity they told you, if you find it like it's confusing because it's going to be a long record for about 2 minutes, now you can go to the audio script on page 157 and you can check your answers. But try first to listen, to do it by listening to the record, okay? And then if you feel like, oh my God, I'm not sure, what shall I do? You can later, like as plan Z, not even plan B, okay, to go to the audio script. This way, you're practicing your listening skill. So, you're ready? Let's go.
Unit 6, Money, Track 38.
What are the main areas that you invest in? We invest in a number of different areas to try and, as I said earlier, to keep the overall spread of investment right. And they really start from the lowest risk asset, which is cash. And then we introduce other asset classes that have different risk and return profiles. So as one is prepared to take on a bit more risk, then obviously one's going to potentially get some more return. So moving up the scale of risk, we go from cash to fixed interest securities, where in effect the client will be lending their money to either a government or a company in return for a fixed rate of return, with a view that capital will increase over a period of time. We then look at index-linked, i.e. linked to the rate of inflation securities. Equities will be the next level of risk, an equity being a stock or a share, where you're buying a part of a company, and obviously as the companies perform better, so the price of that share should increase. We then look at slightly more esoteric or different areas of investment to give some return that's not linked to equity returns, to share returns. For instance, commercial property is an area where one can achieve fairly good income return, but you're investing long-term into bricks and mortar, something that you can see, something that's slightly more safe. We also look at commodities, so looking at precious metals, either gold or platinum. We look at agriculture, which has become an interesting area of development over the last 20 years. And then we have the final asset class we call our alternative investments, and they can be either hedge funds, which invest in lots of different areas, or something that's called absolute return funds, where the manager will invest money across a whole wide range of areas with a view to giving small incremental elements of return over a reasonable period. And as I said earlier, we try and combine those asset classes to get the best level of risk and return.
Okay. I know it's a confusing record. It has so many details. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. You can listen to it as many times as you like. And you can also cheat a little bit. It's not cheating, but it's how, which is the audio script. Okay, so let's check the answers. Here we go. It's in front of you. I hope it's clear, guys. Okay, so the fixed interest securities, which is lending to a government or a company. Now, the equities like a stock or a share. Investment not linked to equity returns, which is commercial property. Commodities like precious metals. Agriculture. Now, maybe the word agriculture is new to you. Okay. Hedge funds, alternative investments. Okay, the word like another alternative, it means something else. Okay, like another type of investments. However, try to find out what's the meaning, what's the difference or between borrowing and lending. Borrow or and lend. Okay, so we got to see in the money quiz if you want to, if like your colleague or your friend borrowed some money from you, what should you do if they forget to pay you back? And here, lend the government. Okay, so try to get the difference between these two vocabs. Now, we're going to listen to the final part of the record and which of the following does he mention? Okay, we have 4 topics, so we need to focus.
Unit 6. Money. Track 39.
In difficult economic times, what would you suggest are attractive areas for investment?
There are a number of attractive areas, and I think I've touched on one earlier with the bond investments, but perhaps I'll develop that a little bit further. A lot depends really on where we are within that economic cycle. If we are at the very bottom of an economic cycle, then the best form of recovery is probably going to be in companies who are going to recover as the economy recovers. So when prices are very low, you could invest in an equity of a company where you saw they would benefit from that reduction in interest rates that you've seen. If it's in the early stages of an economic depression or recession, shall we call it, then with interest rates likely to be cut aggressively, then obviously the fixed income area of the market is perhaps the most appropriate place to be. Another area which I think has traditionally been a very safe haven has been gold. And I think over the last 15 years or so, gold has been through a number of different cycles. And in particular, I think as a recovery play, it will always be perceived as a store of value. At the same time as the emerging markets keep continuing to grow, there's a lot of interest, appetite for people to invest in gold in terms of their jewelry, as well as wishing to own that asset. So I think gold, fixed income securities, and early cycle equities would be my answer.
Okay, hope that was clear. So, which one he was talking about? Which one? Okay, sure? It's number 3. He was talking about hedge funds. Okay. We're moving to the reading part, an inspirational story of this guy here. Okay. There are some new, I don't know, weird words you've never heard before. It's okay. Every single word has a meaning, don't worry. Now, the thing that you need to focus on also while you're reading is the words that are in bold, like here, trading, financial analyst, research analysis, business sector, okay, this stuff, earnings, okay, all of these bold words, because we're going to have activities next about them, okay. So please read it very carefully and try to comprehend everything there. If it's not clear for you here in the video, you know where you can find it. So the first activity, find idiomatic expressions in the article, okay? The article heading, okay, in page 55. So the heading means here. So please try to find out their meaning, okay? Here, again, we're practicing more English translation. So go ahead. Okay, done? Let's check the answer. So someone who does a lot of complicated business transactions is the wheeler dealer. Wheeler dealer. Number two, a young person who is very skilled or very successful at something, we call it whiz kid, okay? Very smart, intelligent person with the young age, okay? Not old. Now, I want you to read the article very carefully and try to complete the profile, okay? Imagine you're having a report about a company and they want the whole profile of it. Now, these are the stuff or the items that you need to focus on. The name of it, age, job, duties, the name of the company, of a person or something, okay? Or the company, like if it's the owner of it, if it's the chairman, if it's the general manager, or the company itself. Now, there are some criteria we need to focus on and we fill it. So try to fill this schedule here and get back to me. Okay, let's see. Now, here we go. Now, the thing that I want to focus on is that it's called Goldman Sachs. Okay, so the CH here is K. Okay, the IQ 238, which is great, focusing on 20 companies. Let's move. We keep doing activities related to the article, but this time, as I told you, the words in bold, these are here. I already put it again for you. So try to find out each term and match them with their meaning. Okay, so we have already learned 12 at the beginning of the lecture and add to them 10 more here. Let's see. Go ahead, please, and do it. Done? Okay, cool. So here we go. These are in front of you. A financial market in which prices are falling, we call it pair market. Okay. Number 6, for example, the capital that a company has from shares rather than from loans, it's equities. The careful examination of the performance of companies and stocks, okay, the stocks themselves, we call it research analysis. Okay, the earnings, the business sector. So we're pretty much learning a lot of vocabs, I know, but they're very important. Okay, so I hope you get it correct. If it's not, it's good to make mistakes, okay? By doing mistakes and correct it for yourself, here the process of learning is achieved. Let's move.
Hi, my name's Ed. Welcome to Ed Explains English. One very useful skill is the ability to describe the ups and downs in the economy. For example, sales turnover, prices, and inflation. This video will show you the necessary verbs and nouns you will need to describe trends. Let us first look at verbs, including phrasal verbs, that we use to describe upward, downward, and horizontal movements. Rise, increase, go up, grow, climb, rocket, soar, improve, pick up, spike, strengthen, recover, surge, peak. Sales always spike in December due to the Christmas business. Beer sales rocketed in May owing to the unusually hot weather.
Fall, decline, decrease, dip, drop, go down, reduce, weaken, slow down, plummet, deteriorate, hit a low.
We expect the demand for steel to decrease in the next months. The price of cocoa has fallen owing to the drop in demand for chocolate.
Level out, remain stable, remain steady, stay at, stay constant, maintain the same level, even out, stagnate.
The demand for e-bikes has levelled out because the summer season is nearly over. The milk price remained stable last year. Some of these verbs have corresponding nouns that we can use if we would like to rephrase or change our sentences. Arise, an increase, a growth, a climb, a peak, a recovery, a surge, an improvement, an upturn, a pickup, a fall, a decline, a decrease, a dip, a drop, a reduction, a weakening, a deterioration, a stagnation, a downturn. We expect a recovery after 1 year of the recession. There was a reduction in working hours last year. Let us look at some examples of how we can switch a sentence from a verb to a noun and vice versa, but keep the same meaning. Petrol prices rose last year. There was a rise in petrol prices last year. We expect sales to dip after Christmas. We expect a dip in sales after Christmas. The inflation has increased despite the government's actions. There has been an increase in inflation despite the government's actions. The number of unemployed people in the UK has fallen this year. There has been a fall in the number of unemployed people this year. I'm sure that you will find describing trends easier in the future. Check out my other 3 videos connected to describing trends that explain how we use adjectives and adverbs, the correct usage of tenses and prepositions, as well as reasons and causes, plus visual representations of trends. Click on the thumbnails below. Cheerio for now!
All got your notes?
Yes, I do.
We'll start with the bar graph. Right. Now, I'd like to refer to the first graph. As you can see, this is a bar graph measuring net sales over the first 10 months of the year. You'll notice that sales rose steadily in the first few months. Then there was a marked increase in April. They peaked in May at around 3.2 million and levelled off. Then there was a dramatic drop in the following month, followed by a significant increase in August, and this trend has continued up until the present.
What was the reason for the sudden drop in July?
This was mainly due to a drop-off in air conditioner sales, so it's a seasonal effect.
Could it be a consequence of the negative effect of the interest rate rise?
Possibly. Now, if I could draw your attention to this next diagram, this is a line graph of sales. The blue line represents air conditioner sales, the red line shows heaters. As you'll note, air conditioner sales dropped steadily from January to July, bottoming out then, while heater sales experienced a sharp increase from March to June, then dropped markedly from June to July, then declined through to September with a pronounced drop in October.
Does this explain the fluctuation in total sales?
Largely. If we look at this pie diagram, you can see that air conditioners and heaters together represent more than half of our total sales, but they vary seasonally, while other appliances are fairly steady through the year.
Well, we can't sell air conditioners when it's cold. What's the solution?
Export to Europe and America.
Easier said than done.
Today, we're looking at presenting information using charts and graphs. We saw three types of diagram: a bar or column graph, a line graph, and a pie chart. Look at how Tan introduced his presentation.
Now, I'd like to refer to the first graph. As you can see, this is a bar graph measuring net sales over the first 10 months of the year.
Tan says, I'd like to refer to the first graph. When referring to a diagram or graph, first direct your audience's attention to that diagram. Practice with Tan some phrases to use for this.
I'd like to refer to the first graph. If we have a look at this graph, if I could direct your attention to the graph, looking at the graph on the screen,
let's look at the language Tan uses to describe what the graph shows.
you'll notice that sales rose steadily in the first few months. Then there was a marked increase in April. They peaked in May at around 3.2 million and levelled off. Then there was a dramatic drop in the following month, followed by a significant increase in August, and this trend has continued up until the present.
Tan said the sales rose steadily at first. Then there was a marked increase in April. This levelled off. Then there was a dramatic drop, and then a significant increase. In describing trends, we use two words. One of those words is a noun or verb. For example, we may talk about an increase or a decrease in numbers. Other words for an increase are rise, climb, improvement, upturn. Most of these words can also be used as a verb: to increase, to rise, to climb, to improve. Other words for a decrease are fall, decline, worsening, downturn. These also have verbs from them: to decrease, to fall, to decline, to worsen. So we say, there was an improvement in the figures for April, or the figures for April have improved. There has been a decline in sales since June, or sales since June have declined. But we often add more descriptive words, adjectives and adverbs. Remember, adjectives go before nouns and adverbs go after verbs. These describe the change in figures. Was it big or small, fast or slow? Other words for a big change are significant, marked, massive, pronounced, substantial. Most adjectives can also be made into adverbs just by adding ly or ly. There is no adverb for big, but informally we say a lot. Other words for small are slight and insignificant, and their adverbs slightly, insignificantly. Other words for a fast or quick change are sharp, dramatic, sudden. And again, we add ly for the adverbs. And for a slow or medium change, we can use steady or moderate, and the adverbs steadily and moderately. Now, try changing the phrases from noun phrases into verb phrases. For example, if Tan says there was a dramatic increase in sales, you say sales increased dramatically. Have a try.
There was a steady rise in sales. Sales rose steadily. There was a significant fall in sales. Sales fell significantly. There was a slight recovery in sales. Sales recovered slightly.
Now let's look at how Tan handles a question about the graph.
What was the reason for the sudden drop in July?
This was mainly due to a drop-off in air conditioner sales, so it's a seasonal effect.
Could it be a consequence of the negative effect of the interest rate rise?
Here are 4 useful phrases for describing causes. Due to. The drop in sales is due to an interest rate rise. A consequence of. The drop in sales is a consequence of an interest rate rise. Because of. The drop in sales is because of an interest rate rise. A result of. The drop in sales is a result of an interest rate rise. How does Tan explain his next diagram?
This is a line graph of sales. The blue line represents air conditioner sales. The red line shows heaters. As you'll note, air conditioner sales dropped steadily from January to July, bottoming out then, while heater sales experienced a sharp increase from March to June, then dropped markedly from June to July, then declined through to September with a pronounced drop in October.
He says air conditioner sales bottomed out in July. This means they reached their lowest level. Then he says they experienced a sharp increase. And he says there was a pronounced drop in heater sales in October. Pronounced here means significant or large. Finally, look at how Tan talks about his pie diagram.
If we look at this pie diagram, you can see that air conditioners and heaters together represent more than half of our total sales, but they vary seasonally, while other appliances are fairly steady through the year.
Tan says air conditioners and heaters represent more than half of sales. This means they account for more than half of the sales. We could put this another way. More than half of sales are represented by air conditioners and heaters. We could say washing machines represent 15% of sales. Washing machines account for 15% of sales. Washing machines make up 15% of sales. And that's accounted for our time today in the business of English. See you next time.
So after you get somehow a clear idea about what we mean by describing trends, I would advise you guys to try to find out or match. Do you see these shapes here with the verbs to describe them? So try to specify. Number one means what? Is it increase? Is it fall? Is it triple? Is it improve? Is it peak? Okay, so each shape here has a vocab. Now, what kind of movement do these verbs describe? Match them to the symbols here from 1 to 11. Okay, you will need to use some symbols more than once. Okay, maybe you need to use them more than one. If you have a partner, please go ahead and do it together. If it's not, you can be your own partner. It's totally okay. So done? Cool. Now, as you can see, for example, from 2 million per month to 6 million, it means you get triple. So double, it means 4, 2, and the double of it 4, or 4, the double of it 8. Now, if I have 4 millions per month and the triple of that, so 4 times 3, it's 12. Okay, now they've been falling, and now they're going up, so they are recovering from 2 to 4, see, double. Now here we can say decline, drop, fall, decrease. Okay, increase up and decrease down. See, increase up, or they gain. Okay, now here we call it level off. So we're going to look at the graphs and then we try to complete the sentences about them. So we have prepositions that we need to use with such stuff. Okay, if we're going 5 and then becomes 7, what do we say? If have increased, what we need to use as a preposition with it? To, by, in, from. Okay, try to guess and get back to me to check your answers. I think that's pretty easy activity regarding the rest of the activities. So let's check the answers. So sales have increased. Okay, so when I have two amounts from 5 million euro to 7, and or increased by 2 millions. Okay, the difference between 5 and 7, it's 2, so by. Now there has been an increase as a noun of 2 million in our sales. Okay, it's the same idea, but we can express it in different ways. Sales now stand at 7 million. Sales reached a peak of 7 million in July. Or we can say sales reached a low point of 1 million in April. If you have any type of graphs, this is how can you express it. We're gonna apply that more. Okay, so here basically you have two graphs. Try to choose each one of them and write at least 1 or 2 sentences minimum. Okay, here you're learning how to do academic writing, and basically this is one of the things that you need to learn in case you want to do any type of English exams like IELTS, TOEFL, whatever. Okay, so you need to know how to use that. Now I'm gonna let you enjoy writing at least 1 sentence, just like the previous sentences in the previous activity that we just saw for the preposition. So please go ahead, think about it, and get back to me. Okay, it's really important to know how to read the graphs. Now I'm going to show you some suggested sentences. For example, the first graph here, I said sales, okay, so we're talking about sales here. Sales rose from just under 5, see, it's a little bit, from just under 5 last year to 7 million. This year. Or I can say there has been an increase in sales of 2 million. Okay, they increased from 5 to 7. So you need to know here we're talking about the time, and here we're talking about the amount of the money. Now, the second different one, okay, we can say sales reach a low point here. The lowest point is equals to 1 million. Which month? In April. Okay, so sales reached a low point of 1 million in April. Sales reached a peak. So basically the peak is just like here we have a mountain. The peak is the highest top of the mountain. So they reached a peak here of 7 million. When? In July. Now the skill that you're going to learn is dealing with figures. So numbers, different type of numbers. We're talking about years, so I think you already know. 1984. We can say two ways. Either we say 2012, or we can say divide them to 2, 2012. It's up to you. Here the points 16, sorry, 0.5. 17.38%. See, it's written 17.38%. We can say 0. You can use 0. It's easy for you. 0.185. 0.185. Here with the money. £3.15. We don't say point because here I have the currency, okay? So this means the dot, there's a difference between the dot and the comma, okay? Now the dot means this is part of, now we have euro, so this is less part of the euro. No, sorry, this is pound. Now here we have dollar. This is $7.80. 80 cents it means, okay? 250 euros. 125 yen. Now, it's really important to know the fractions. So this is, we call it a quarter. This is, we call it 2/3. This is, we call it a half or halves if it's plural with VES. And this is, we call it 3/4. 2/3, 3/4. Now if we have bigger numbers. So this is the comma. It means I'm moving from thousands to hundreds, okay, or millions and like that. So here it divide it for me. So this is what I mean by the difference between comma and the point. 3,000, okay, you don't say and. When you see comma, we don't put and. You can also put comma when you're writing it. 560, okay, or we can say, this is British, we can say in American, 3,560. There is no and at all. Okay, but for me, I prefer to use the British one, which is and. We got used to that. Now, the comma, you don't have and. You can put also comma. You can say 3,000, comma, 560. What do we have here? 598, comma. Even in the writing, you can write that. 347. So notice that when we say 98, 25, 66, we put a hyphen between them. Okay? Here, 1 million. You can put comma also in the writing. It's totally okay. You want to put it or not, it's up to you. Since it's just 1 million, it's just 1,000 here, 3,000, which is one number. 300,000, comma, 402. 1 million or a million, it's up to you. 3 billion. See, we don't say 3 millions, okay? We keep it million, thousand, hundred, even if it's 10 or 1. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. We don't say millions, okay? $7.5 billion. 478 million euros. Okay. If you don't specify an exact amount, a plural is used. It cost thousands of dollars. So basically, if we don't have a specific number, we can say thousands and millions. But if I have the specific number, no, we use the singular form. We don't put s to thousand and to the million. Now here we have this article filled of figures. Okay. I want to pause the video first and try to read it. Okay, try to practice reading it and get back to me. Okay, you try to read some of the numbers or some of the figures. Okay, now I'm gonna let you listen to the record when we're going to listen to the figures.
Unit 6. Money. Track 40. Business in brief. It was a bad day for the London market. Following disappointing results from FedEx in the US and fears of a credit crunch, the FTSE 100 fell 105 points, or 1.8%, to 5,756.9, while the FTSE 250 fell 189.1 points, or 1.9%, to 9,534.8. Only 8 blue-chip stocks managed to make gains. The best was Smith & Nephew. Shares in the medical devices group rose 2.9% to 595.5 pence after UBS upgraded the stock to a buy recommendation. S&N was also supported by rumors of a bid approach from a Japanese company. On the other hand, British Airways, down 5.2% to 225.75 pence, fell even further after Morgan Stanley cut its target to 149 pence. This was because of worries about increasing fuel prices. Tate & Lyle, the sugar and sweeteners group, lost 5.2% to 402.25 pence after Citigroup lowered its forecasts because of rising corn prices. Following recent floods in the US, the cost of corn has risen 25%.
We don't say risen, we say risen. Okay, I hope that was clear. Now, try to write all the numbers, okay, from the correct version of the article in it, like the previous article about business, and then try to according to the way they are pronounced. Okay, so write it in a fully. Okay, like here 105 point, we say 105 points, like that. Okay, try to do that by yourself, please, and get back to the numbers here. Okay, go ahead, please, and pause the video. Okay, I know it takes time. You can listen to the record one more time and then let's
Unit 6.
check. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Match what you wrote to what you can see. Okay, so I divide them to two groups. They were 14 figure. This is the first group. 125 points, 1.8%, 5,000, see, 5,000, 756.9. 189.1 points. See, 189.1 points. So this point's different than this point. 599 pence, okay. 225 and a quarter. 402 and 3 quarters. 3 quarter.
Numbers. 100%. 10 meters by 3 meters. 32%. 8.3. 3 squared. 2 cubed. 2 to the power of 4. 1975. 2001. 26 degrees. 2633847. 1,325,476. 21st. 92nd. 53rd. 67th. 3/4. 1 2/3.
And that's it. Thank you for watching the lecture and really focusing this time. I'm gonna test you in the online session. Until then, please stay safe. Bye-bye.
"15 Things You Didn't Know About Jeff Bezos." Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to another amazing video. This time we're looking into the life of the founder of one of the biggest internet giants in the world, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Former Wall Street executive and Princeton graduate, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon in his garage. He's now worth an incredible $72.3 billion and has undoubtedly changed the way we shop forever. He's the 5th richest person in the world, and he's many people's entrepreneurial icon for a good reason. Alux.com is dedicated to becoming the world's best resource on the most influential business people and entrepreneurs in the world, so it would be a shame if we missed this one. Here are 15 things you didn't know about Jeff Bezos. Number 1. The very first book sold on Amazon was shipped from Jeff Bezos' garage. In 1995, the rather long-winded, fluid concepts and creative analogies, computer models of the fundamental mechanisms of thought, became the first book to be bought on Amazon. There were no huge Amazon warehouses back then, so it was packaged and dispatched by Bezos himself. Number 2. He's a really tough boss. Tech startups are assumed to be social, relaxed places, but Amazon is apparently nothing of the sort. Bezos likes an adversarial atmosphere, regularly forwards customer complaints onto his staff with a probing question mark, and has been quoted as saying, "If I hear that idea again, I'm gonna have to kill myself." Number 3. Bezos banned PowerPoint presentations at Amazon team meetings. Instead of a dry presentation where people sit in silence and listen to someone else's interpretation of a topic, all team meetings start with 30 minutes of reading on the topic instead. Everyone has their own individual thoughts, and it encourages critical thinking. Number 4. He graduated from Princeton with highest honors. Bezos' academic career began well. He was his high school's valedictorian and National Merit Scholar. He went on to Princeton to study for a Bachelor's of Science in Engineering, alongside electrical engineering and computer science. As well as graduating with honors, he was elected to Tau Beta Pi, the oldest engineering society in the United States. Number 5. Jeff cares about customer feedback a lot. An elderly customer complained to Amazon that she had to wait for her young nephew to open her Amazon packages for her because the boxes were too tough for her to open. In response, Jeff Bezos had a new design rolled out. Also, in an effort to help staff at all levels understand the buying process, every staff member at Amazon spends 2 days every 2 years working in the customer service department. Even Jeff Bezos himself does it. Number 6. Bezos' original business plan for Amazon didn't predict any profit for 5 years. Bezos outlined a slow growth, which didn't go down well with impatient stockholders. This was during the dot-com bubble, and investors were anxious that it could burst at any time. Amazon turned its first profit in 2001, 6 years after it was launched, and just over the deadline that Bezos set for himself. Interested in another wealthy tech giant's rise to the top? Check out our video about the 15 things you didn't know about Bill Gates. Number 7. He was originally going to name Amazon Cadabra. Cadabra, a shortened version of Abracadabra, was chosen by Bezos originally as the name for his book-selling website. When he ran it by his lawyer, it was vetoed because he misheard it as cadaver. Bezos then bought a new domain and considered calling the online company Relentless, but friends told him it sounded too sinister. Amazon.com was finally bought in 1995. Number 8. In Amazon's early days, Bezos and his staff saved money by making desks out of doors. Amazon's first staff would get cheap doors and construct desks from them, encouraged by Jeff Bezos. I guess you have to resort to things like that when you're not expecting to make a profit for 5 years. The company still encourages the practice and hand out a Door Desk Award for really creative, thrifty ideas. Number 9. He's been in talks with Richard Branson to create commercial spacelift opportunities. Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group, has created Virgin Galactic to establish the first commercial space line. Jeff Bezos is interested too, it seems, and has established his own space exploration company, Blue Origin. The pair met recently to discuss their mutual interests, but it could get a little awkward if they go into the topic of why all those Virgin megastores went out of business. Number 10. The house in Seattle that Jeff Bezos founded Amazon from still has an enlarged mailbox. The growing business received so much mail and book catalogs that the normal mailbox just wouldn't do. Bezos bought an extra-large mailbox that could take the weight of all the catalogs he ordered. The house sold in 2009, and the buyer apparently had no idea he owned a piece of internet history. Number 11. When he was a kid, Bezos spent his summers working on his grandparents' farm. Jeff isn't afraid of some good old-fashioned hard manual work, because he got used to it when he was a kid. His grandparents owned a ranch in Texas where they taught the young Bezos how to do farm work and even castrate cattle. He has cited his grandfather as a major influence. Bezos quoted him in a 2010 commencement speech, saying that he taught him it's harder to be kind than clever. Number 12. He founded a summer camp with his girlfriend when he was a teenager. After a very dissatisfying summer working at McDonald's, the teenage Jeff decided there had to be an easier way to make money. The next summer, he established a summer camp called the Dream Institute with his girlfriend, charging attendees $600 each. They taught various books, including Gulliver's Travels, Stranger in a Strange Land, Dune, and Watership Down. Number 13. When Amazon only sold books, Bezos would have to source the item after an order came in. Amazon's founder had no space to store all of his stock in the early days, so he would have to trawl secondhand bookstores and other online retailers to find them and ship them out to the customer. It's a far cry from prime delivery within 60 minutes. Number 14. His first startup job taught him how not to run a company. Jeff Bezos' first job out of Princeton was a startup company called Vitel, who were looking for Princeton's best computer science graduates. His job required him to fly between New York and London every week, which Bezos referred to as not the right way to organize a startup company. In an interview with Wired in 1999, he stayed with the company for 2 years and then moved to a job with the Bankers Trust that was much more reliable. Number 15. He wanted a wife who was resourceful. In the same 1999 Wired interview, Bezos discussed his search for his wife, too. His main priority was for someone who was resourceful, because life's too short to hang out with people who aren't resourceful. His search paid off, and he married fellow Amazon employee Mackenzie, who is now a novelist. Jeff Bezos has truly revolutionized the online world and created something that overlaps into our non-digital lives too. His creation has proven to be such a game changer that we couldn't really imagine life without Amazon. Not only that, but Bezos has demonstrated that the path to internet startup success definitely doesn't run smoothly. An important lesson to us all. What could you take from Jeff Bezos' rise to wealth? What kind of business examples has he set in an age where people seem to get instant fame too easily? Oh, you're still here? Well, here's something else that's particularly surprising about Jeff Bezos. His teachers described him as not particularly gifted in leadership when he was at school. He certainly proved them wrong. They evidently didn't know him very well enough because he was apparently talking about space exploration from a very early age. Thank you for spending some time with us, A-Luxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.